Everybody, we are back. We are live for the Miss Marvel watch party and after show. We are 3 episodes behind because of Obi-Wan Kenobi. We had to finish that one first. And now we're back and we're doing this one now. Better late better late than never. That's what I always say. So, and once again, we have I still have your name there like the way it is. I got to change it really quick. Introduce yourself, Jeffrey.
I am COVID Jeffrey, recovering from COVID Jeffrey. So I guess I'm mostly recovered at this point. So, um, uh, my symptoms are mostly gone. I was on a set like several days of some really good medication called Paxlovid. So thank you to the doctors and medical staff that helped me get prescribed, get treated. Um, Last week was just really. Last week was a stressful week. All weeks are stressful, but this last week was especially stressful. But
Yeah.
toughed it out, and here we are. So, I hope I don't have to deal with COVID again anytime soon.
Well,
It
I'm
was so
glad.
weird going over 2 years from the pandemic, and then boom, just get COVID for the first time. Um, and it was a more inconvenient time. I would have rather have gotten COVID uh, uh, earlier in the lockdown, but you know what? I mean, it might have been more dangerous then because those might have been the more severe cases. So not to
Mhm.
kind of, this wasn't a severe case, but I received good medical care, good medical service, and happy to be back here, Mike. How are
Yeah.
you?
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm doing good. I'm a little sore today. Played a charity golf tournament yesterday for the Baker Boys, our friends over there at K Day.
Hmm.
Yeah, I played okay, but I did hit one where my iron literally hit the ground and my really shook in my hands. So my hands are sore, back is sore. So I'm getting through it though.
All right. So once again, I am the J to the E to the double F free, Jeffrey Harris, and welcome back to the MUSE TV watch party. So now that Obi-Wan Kenobi is in the books, we are moving
Mhm.
over to Miss Marvel. So tonight will be episode 4. So we're coming into Miss Marvel midway through the season. But we are with Miss Marvel. So we missed the first 3 episodes, unless we've watched them, so we
Yeah,
know we have an idea of what's going on, but we didn't do this one in the watch party. So I guess we're
exactly.
gonna finish up Miss Marvel for right now, and then I guess go from there. But Kenobi was quite the ride. Man, and you know what? So much controversy around Kenobi. The
I
discussion,
noticed that too. Like after the series ended,
yeah,
there was a lot of weird discussions about the
it's
series.
hard for it's hard for me to discuss Kenobi because here it's fine. Like with you, it's fine because
Yeah,
we can do so in a civil manner. We can keep the discussion civil. We can have our disagreements, and it's totally fine. But like on the internet, there's like no safe havens anymore,
yeah,
and like everything just gets so uh intense and just dialed up. It's like calm down, guys. Like
yeah.
seriously. Uh so it's hard for me it's hard to discuss the show without, because everyone gets so emotional about these characters.
Hmm.
And on one hand, I understand getting emotional because these are like important characters who have been with us for decades, but at the same time, I think sometimes people take it a bit too seriously and they get too emotionally charged on it. And then sometimes I think people are just being silly and going with these crazy, arguments. But I mean, overall, I had a good time with Kenobi. Like, I didn't hate the show. And I think the show got better as it went along. The show was not perfect, but I think the show delivered on most of the aspects of what we wanted. We wanted Ewan McGregor back
Hmm.
as Kenobi. We wanted to see a confrontation with Darth Vader. We got Darth Vader. We got flashbacks with Hayden Christensen. We got the return of Liam Neeson as Qui Gon Jinn.
Yep.
So if you're not happy with the show, to me, I guess my question would be, what did the show not have that you really wanted? I guess.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you on that. I like the show. I thought it was a good show.
Now, yeah, go ahead.
No, that's all I'm gonna add. Just I like the show. Thought it was a good show. Plain and
Now,
simple.
Miss Marvel so far, it's kind of following the typical Marvel origin story. I think Iman Vellani, who plays Kamala
Mhm.
Khan, I think she's very good in this show. I think her family are all really good. I really like the family relationships and dynamic. All the family stuff seems very real and genuine to me. It's
Yeah.
all very good. I think I think I think the show though focuses a bit too much on the family drama, and
Mhm.
I feel like we're only getting a slow drip of the greater like super heroics and the superhero plot.
Mhm.
Like I get to me this should not I think the pacing needs to pick up a little bit for
Yeah.
the series.
Yeah.
Because we are 3 episodes in.
Mhm.
Um and we're just now getting to the whole grander plot of uh the do we call them the Jinn or the clandestine?
I don't know what you call them. I thought it was the gin.
I guess their race is the Jinn, but they're
Yeah.
also called the clandestine, which I think is a I think both things are from the Marvel comics.
Yeah.
Now I thought that little connection, so I guess that was a flashback
Mhm.
in the third
It
episode
was.
where they found where Aisha, who is I guess Kamala's great grandmother.
Mhm.
So I guess that was the 40s. So
Yeah.
Aisha found, I guess, the bangle that was given to Kamala. So I guess she is part Jinn, and her family is her relatives are also part Jinn.
Mhm.
And because Kamala has the bangle, it I guess it released her superpowered DNA because
Mhm.
they're interdimensional beings. Now
Yeah.
the other neat thing, did you notice like in the temple where they found the bangle artifact, it looked like the 10 rings.
Yeah. I noticed that right off the bat when I saw it. When they showed the floor, I was like, okay, how is this related to the Ten Rings?
I don't I don't think I get how it's related to the 10 rings, but maybe they stole the artifact or or maybe people who worked for Wenwu, aka the Mandarin, or maybe they stole it or acquired it over the centuries or something.
Yeah.
They did mention there are 2 bangles.
Mhm.
So I guess Kamala has one. Do we know where the other one is yet?
No, not yet.
Her brother got married.
Mhm.
And all this stuff is fine. But I kind of want, the action to pick up a little bit. I
Yeah.
want to see I want to see Miss Marvel in action and, doing super heroics and I feel like they kind of relegate all that to the end.
Mhm.
Like I feel like they're putting all that cool stuff at the end of the episodes where it's just to me it's just not balanced enough.
Yeah.
I think we need a little more action and super heroics going with the family. The family stuff they're dialed in there. Like it's good, it's believable, it feels genuine and natural. I like that, but like I need a little bit more of like like the intrigue, the super heroics and the action. I think they could balance that a little bit more. But what do you think, Mike?
Well, like I told you, I think we talked about it on the phone off air. Like I feel like it's too much Saved by the Bell and not
Mhm.
enough action mixed with it. Because I think the storyline's good. It's not for like some of the things don't seem to be catered towards me. It seems to be catered to teenagers, which is perfectly fine. But I like the storylines. I think it's good. It's just like where's the first 2 episodes you get glimpses, but I'm just like, where's the superhero aspect in this?
Well, it's there, but it's just kind of all it's kind of like all at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And like I just think and I think this has been I think it was a bit of a problem with Moon Knight as well, where they'd only like throw in like some action at the end or
Mm-hmm.
what have you. And then it was like they were too scared of making Moon Knight too much like Batman or
Yeah,
some nonsense. Jeremy Slater said something like that in an interview, and I'm like, was Daredevil worried about being like Batman? I mean,
yeah,
come on here.
exactly.
I mean, there are a lot of street level like urban vigilante crime fighter types that you know it's about to me to me that was a major red flag, and I was really disappointed. Moon Knight was a big disappointment for me. So far, I think this show is like kind of I think it gets the material better than Moon Knight,
Mhm.
but again, I just think the balance is a little off.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe it's gonna get better now that we're on the downward half of the episodes
Hopefully,
getting towards the end, so hopefully.
hopefully
Um,
we don't have to wait until the last episode to see Kamala get her actual costume, but that's
yeah,
probably what they're gonna do.
exactly, exactly, but, before we do move forward, let me do a little housekeeping, really quick. Last week, we had a lot of bots, we had it was just ridiculous the amount of bots
Oh
that we
yeah.
had on the show. So now if you wanna comment and you wanna participate in the show, you must subscribe, and then we're able to take a look at your comments and be able to and you can be a part of the show. We had to put the subscribe feature in because the amount of bots we got in last week's Obi-Wan Kenobi finale show was just to another level that we don't want you don't we don't it got to the point where it was disturbing the guests and and the people who are actually a part of this. So please subscribe if you want to join along and enjoy the rest of the show with us. We got it's 11:12. We will be going live until 11:15. Then we shut down the cameras and watch the show. We'll repart. I'll say it again once we get closer to showtime, but just wanted to let everybody know that you must subscribe um, in order to be able to comment and be a part of this.
And whoever was spamming Mike's channel with bots, shame on you. Mike is a
I don't
good
think it's
guy.
I don't think it was a person. I think it's literally
Well, who's ever responsible for spam bots,
yeah.
that spam bot program, shame on you. Mike is a good person. He's a hard worker. Uh, don't do shame on you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say like don't do it, but shame on you
Yeah.
to your everlasting shame.
Yep. But so we have 3 more episodes left for tonight, next week, and the week after. So it'll literally end a week before Comic-Con. Do
Ah,
you think
interesting.
do you think that's good timing for the show?
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, we also found out that Marvel Studios will apparently be going to Comic Con yet.
Well,
It's just that, but we're almost in July and we still don't even have a full Comic Con programming schedule. But Kevin
today
Kevin
today
Feige
was
said at a press conference they're going.
yeah, today was the first day I actually got emails for Comic-Con.
I started getting some emails as well for
Mhm.
now. So it looks like it will be a much bigger event than Comic Con Special Edition in November. So yeah.
Yeah. I also
Um,
got my badges today too.
what was that?
I also got my badge today. Unfortunately, they sent both of our
Wait,
badges.
so oh,
Badges.
okay. I thought they weren't mailing badges out, but I guess they're still mailing them
Yep,
for
but
reporters for
it's
certain
not
people.
as it's not as nice as it once was.
Okay.
This is pretty much what you
So
get
it's not that nice sort of like really
with the box and the pin.
that really nice decorative box with the pin and the
Yeah,
lanyard kind of thing.
yeah, no.
That was really nice when they do that. I guess they just didn't have the money this year.
Yeah, well, that's
Um,
what I'm thinking too, and the fact that they're it's so close to last year's.
okay.
So I'm thinking that's the reason why.
Now another big announcement. This was in the Hollywood Reporter.
Mhm.
While Warner Brothers Discovery will have a presence with panels and things at the convention, there will not be a DC Comics booth, and this will
Wow.
be the first time there will not have been a DC Comics booth at Comic Con, not counting Comic Con Special Edition last November in a very long time. Now let's see. What did the Hollywood Reporter say about this? I think the Hollywood Reporter also said that it costs about $25 million for Warner Brothers to basically do the floor installation and all the like a total cost. So Warner Brothers in years past would spend $25 million to run Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So is that just cost prohibitive at this point or what?
I think so, because Warner Brothers does have some installations at Comic-Con, because I found out from a friend of mine that,
Okay.
but they're not going to do the DC.
But like
Yeah,
normally DC Comics is one of the biggest booths on the convention floor.
exactly. And that's kind of shocking. I wonder if they're going to, well, I think they're going to use their sub properties in order to promote DC instead of having just one single DC booth.
I think it's just this is just the result. I mean, this is the result of the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's a combination. It's the pandemic, it's cost factor plus the Discovery merger. So all those things are causing an effect here.
Well, I do know that they're still going through a lot. The merger, after the merger, there's still a lot of uncertainty.
But the
in
lack
the
of a
studio.
DC Comics booth at Comic-Con, it is, I mean, it is shocking because like you're not going to have like that interaction with the artists, the writers, the signings, the displays, the giveaways, which is a big part of the Comic-Con experience. So it is a bit troubling.
I agree. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to be there and who isn't.
Now personally,
Mm-hmm.
I would not mind if there was if big companies and corporations started leaving Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Because I think what started hurting Comic-Con, let's say in the last 12, 13 years, was really just like a lot of companies coming and doing stuff that a lot of stuff that I just don't think belongs at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Like, in your opinion, Mike, does like FX comedies in the league belong at Comic-Con? I would say no.
No. Depending on what it is, like if it's cartoon based, superhero based, yes, but or like Family Guy, like animation, Family Guy, something like that. Yeah.
I to me, I think if it's genre heavy, genre based kind of thing. But like I think what really hurt Comic-Con was when they started bringing, no offense to the Twihard fans, I think when they started bringing the Twilight films, I think that really had a negative impact on the Comic-Con experience.
Yeah, it may have. Well, just to me, because I don't like the Twilight series. Don't everybody who's watching, please. It's just me. I just don't like them. But also too, it's like I get it when it's animation and it's something that fits into the genre of Comic-Con.
Right.
I understand it completely, but like, how does Mayans, like 2019 they had Mayans, a Mayans panel there.
Right.
Which I was kind of like, I was shocked that they actually had a panel for Mayans there. And then like WWE showing their toys, hey, I'm perfectly fine when it's toys and stuff like that. It fits what it is. But sometimes the genre.
AEW is going to be there this year. They're going to have a panel and they're going to have.
Yeah,
I actually got that was one of the emails I got today was about the AEW wrestlers and stars who are going to be there.
Shoot, I did not even get that.
So they are going to have a presence there as well.
But I'm gonna have to get in touch with Thunder.
I wouldn't mind if there was just less gobbledygook, and if it took a more streamlined approach.
Yeah,
because it's
a lot. It is a lot.
There's just I feel like it's just got too bloated, and the special edition, as small as it was kind of almost refreshing how small it was. by comparison to previous years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of wouldn't mind if a lot of stuff got removed, and if we could find like some better balance for Comic Con,
Yeah.
personally.
I agree.
But I am not in charge of Comic Con, so it's not going to be my decision. But
Yeah.
I would like to see some changes, and I don't know. I just think it's not that I think DC Comics should have a booth.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like DC Comics should have a booth, Marvel should have a booth, some of the other major comic imprints. I would like to see all that stay, but maybe like FX and Mayans and MC, that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think we need that at Comic-Con, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's like I like Mayans, don't get me wrong, but as for Comic-Con, no, I don't think that's a place for it.
Like Mayans is just it's a show about a biker gang. It's not like it's not a comic. It's not sci-fi or fantasy. It's just, to me, it just doesn't fit the Comic-Con sort of vision. But
Yeah.
that's just my personal opinion. And uh I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what it's like this year. It definitely looks like it's going to be a big year nonetheless.
Yeah.
Especially if Marvel Studios is coming ahead of D23,
Yeah.
because I guess people thought because it's a D23 year, Marvel would skip again, but it looks like they're going, according to Kevin Feige.
Yeah. Something tells me they're going to announce it's going to be 50-50 on what they're announcing. There'll be some announced at Comic-Con and some announced on D20 at D23.
I bet, now this is just me totally spitballing and speculating, Mike. I
Mhm.
bet a part of like Kevin has sort of a soft spot for Comic-Con, going back as long in like the Marvel sort of even the pre-Marvel Cinematic Universe, when he started when he was working on like the 20th Century Fox X-Men films. So
Mhm.
I feel like he knows. I feel like he has a soft spot for Comic-Con, Hall H, the Hall H presentations, and I think he probably sees it as like just good karma, just
Yeah.
how many big announcements and big panels they've had in Hall H, and how that's sort of been good
Mhm.
for Marvel and their bottom line.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he kind of wants to maintain that.
Mhm.
Not like of course they haven't always been in Comic-Con Hall H every year, but I think it's sort of like an irregular tradition he wants to maintain.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
do you think?
Oh no, I agree. I mean, when you're gonna make announcements for anything Marvel Studios related, I think you have to be at Comic Con. You have to hit the fans first, because the fans are gonna be the first ones to support it, and they're the easiest ones to get to support and jump on and be able to watch a show. The harder ones are the people who don't watch, and you're trying to get them on. That's the hardest ones, and I think that's where after D23 where the real work begins. But
Plus
Comic
at
Con,
D23 they can show a couple extra other things anyway, you know?
exactly. Miss Marvel will be done by then. We'll be looking into She-Hulk next. I don't think there is anything between there, right?
Uh so Thor Love and Thunder comes out before Comic-Con,
Yeah.
right before,
Mhm.
which
Black
I'm seeing
Panther is
tomorrow night. When is that one?
that's in November, I think. I don't know when in November or October.
Okay, and Quantum Mania is 2023. The Marvels is 2023, and then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3,
Next year.
probably 2023.
Mhm.
Okay, so those are the next three movies, and then they're gonna do the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Yeah.
So that'll be
That's
in
this year.
December.
Mhm.
That'll be this year in December. So they'll have a steady stream of stuff to program.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm hoping we'll get to see some stuff for Guardians of the Galaxy at Comic Con then.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. I think
Uh
that I think we'll see some Black Panther stuff, definitely for sure.
And hopefully we'll get a new announcement on the director of Fantastic Four, which
Yeah,
at least maybe we'll get a new director and hopefully some casting announcements.
yeah,
It still feels kind of early to get X-Men stuff, you know?
yeah.
I
I
think yeah.
I don't think we're gonna see the X Men till phase end of phase 5, phase 6.
I think people just underestimated the whole 20th Century Fox merger
Hmm.
because because of the merger with Disney and Fox,
Hmm.
like that kind of put everything that all the Fox characters on hold.
Yeah.
So and Marvel couldn't touch any of those characters until the merger was done.
Hmm.
So so that put like Deadpool 3 on hold.
Yeah.
And now apparently they are going to do Deadpool 3.
Hmm.
So I think people probably figured, "Oh, well, they own those characters now, they can start doing things with them." But well, no, they had to the merger had to go through all the regulation checks, had to get approved by what the who handles that? The SEC?
Yeah.
Things like yeah, it had to go through that whole process. And then, and then the pandemic. And
Hmm.
then the pandemic just put things on hold even further. So we
Yeah.
had all these movies in the pipeline that we couldn't watch for 2 years because of the freaking pandemic.
Yeah.
And then that just sort of ground everything to a halt, and that just pushed things back even further.
Hmm.
But yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be a while, but before I think we finally see the X-Men or mutant characters.
Yeah, because I think we'll see Deadpool before we see X Men.
And I think Deadpool's kind of like his own thing anyway.
Yeah.
Like you can really do Deadpool and it really won't affect anything else
Hmm.
because Deadpool is so wacky and out there. It really doesn't. Really, nothing Deadpool does really matters
Yeah.
or really has an effect, and it's just not that's not a knock on Deadpool. It's just Deadpool's like wacky. It's like the comedic.
Hmm.
It's like the edgy comedic side of the Marvel universe kind of thing. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, and let's be honest, the Deadpool movies had no impact on the Fox X-Men films either,
Hmm.
for that
I
matter.
agree.
Not to mention they ignored all the past, all what was established beforehand with Wade Wilson and Deadpool.
Yeah.
uh, Case in point, uh, Deadpool with no mouth from X-Men Origins Wolverine,
Yeah.
as you
Exactly.
recall.
Exactly. Um. Yeah, we're almost 20 minutes away, 22 minutes away right now. Just to let everybody know, we're also putting a little ticker behind underneath so you could help support us with super chats and either through super chat or cash app or super thanks, whatever. Gas is expensive, as you all know, and going down to San Diego for Comic Con is expensive. But we're gonna be there. But if we have a little extra cash, it makes it a lot easier and a lot more fun.
Um,
So we had to. I had to do
well,
something.
the ticker is great. It's nice. It looks really nice.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we shoot gas is like I filled up my car and it was almost $90 to fill up right now.
I don't even want to think about gas right now.
Mhm.
It's a mess.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, uh, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
yeah. I'm trying to figure
It's
out
terrible.
alternatives to driving to Comic
It's
Con every day.
huh?
I'm trying to figure out alternatives to driving to Comic Con every day because hotel rooms were the cheapest hotel room I saw in San Diego was $207 a night.
Well, let me. I mean, we have a room.
Hmm.
Um, so we'll figure. I don't know. I don't know if you can stay in our room, but
Yeah.
maybe you can stop by.
Yeah. There's one day I'm gonna have to come back,
Oh,
but I will stay the but Saturday and Sunday is probably the big days.
what a mess. Yeah, but the
Yeah.
gas situation.
It makes it
I mean,
harder
it's
this year.
worse in California, but
Yeah.
it's horrible all around.
Yeah. And that's gonna make it hard this year to head to for a lot of people to go to San Diego Comic Con. And people are
Yeah.
still gonna go, but because everybody got their badges. But I'm curious to see how many people will be there this year.
Yeah, it's a bad beat out
Hmm.
here.
Yeah.
So what are your any standouts for you so far coming from Miss Marvel? Anything that really stands out for you in this
The
series
acting,
so far?
I like the acting, and I like the family story, even though I wish it would be more action. But I do like the family story. I like the way it's
Yeah, I
set
think
up.
it's the strong. I think it's the strongest aspect of the show so far.
Yeah, but I do want to see more action. That's the one thing I do want to see more action. I do want to see more of
Yes.
of Kamala's powers in the show and how she learns to control them.
I feel bad. I feel bad for her family. The wedding
Oh
got
yeah,
broken up.
yeah, that kind of stuff. But the dance scenes were really cool.
But and I think Iman Vellani. I think she's like the real breakout star of this series.
Yeah, I think so too. I think she's really good um, in the series. I really that's what's keeping me into the series right now is the acting and the writing. But
So is she going to visit her great grandmother this episode? You think
I
is that
think it has to because she was on the phone with somebody from believe where was it?
was that Aisha? Was that her great grandmother?
I think that was her grandmother.
Okay.
So she's supposed to go. I
So
mean,
she probably it sounds like she knows some secrets about her powers and abilities, I
yeah,
guess.
I think she does, and she wants her to go to find out. So I have a feeling she is going to go down there and try and learn about her family history, her family tree, and what these powers are like.
Okay, she said she needs to come to Karachi, which is a city in Pakistan.
Mhm.
So, well, is she actually going to go to Pakistan this week? That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting. I think she is, to be honest. I think that's where the next phases of the story is going.
Now it also looks like damage control arrested uh Najma.
I believe so.
I believe the villain's name. I believe her Cameron's mother.
Hmm.
I believe her name is Najma. So she's a Jin, and the leader of the clandestine.
Yeah.
This group of people that are like from another dimension. So they got arrested by damage control. Um, Kamala was able to stay away from them. So I guess they're still going to be in custody now.
I guess so. I would
Or is
think
someone
so.
going to bust them out or what?
I think that's the only reason she's able to go is because they're in custody, to be honest. 'Cause I don't think the mom would want her to go.
Now it seems like not Cameron seems to genuinely like Kamala and doesn't
Mhm.
want anything bad to happen to her, but
Yeah.
Najma doesn't really seem to care and is willing to do whatever means necessary to accomplish her goals,
Yeah.
basically. She doesn't seem trustworthy. I don't know, but so far the clandestine don't seem all that threatening
Hmm.
so far. They don't seem that sinister and menacing, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I I think maybe if we actually saw them do something like really like I'm not
Hmm.
saying they have to start butchering people, but maybe if we saw them do start doing some terrible things, establish him as a threat. I think they need to kind of show Najma and the clan Destine people being more of a threat.
Yeah.
Uh
I agree. I agree.
uh but that's kind of my impressions from the third episode.
Yeah.
Um what
Well,
oh her okay, go ahead.
I think that's what really does need to be pushed. Like we need to see what they're what's because they say one reason is to go home, but is
Right.
it really that reason? And what are they doing power wise? I mean, what's their end goal? That's my thing.
Um it kind of I guess maybe are these people kind of like the people what was the ancient city from Shang-Chi?
Uh,
I'm trying to look up the what was the city called?
I don't remember.
Ta Lo.
Hmm.
So I wonder if their home is similar to Ta Lo, because what I remember about Michelle Yeoh's character seemed to mention how there were like other kind of like these sort of like interdimensional hidden cities bordering our world, kind of like Ta Lo. So I wonder if their home is like that, and if there's a connection there to Ta Lo.
Definitely. If
And I
if
wonder if that's where the Mandarin the rings thing comes in at the
Mhm.
beginning of the series.
That's why I'm trying to remember. Well, so that could probably be it, and there has to be a connection to the end of Shang-Chi with Wong, how they found that power source within the rings.
Maybe these bangles are like a similar kind of like artifact.
Mhm.
They're like not of Earth, and they're like ancient, like they're ancient technology that are very powerful,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah, I agree.
I'd be curious to see what happens with that. Oh, do you think Bruno likes Kamala?
Yeah,
Likes her?
yeah.
Because he always seems jealous when Cameron is giving her attention or she's talking about Cameron. So what do you think?
Well, you know how it is when you're a teenager at that age. Like you see another guy talking to a girl you like, and you just kind of like just want to push him out of the way.
Yeah, but do you think Bruno sees her as more than just a friend and has like a crush on her and wants
Yeah,
to be like her boyfriend? Do you think?
yeah, I think so. I
Because
think so.
that's the feeling I generally get
Mm.
from Bruno.
Yeah, I agree.
But now Bruno is conflicted because he got offered this sweet free ride to Caltech, but he doesn't want to leave Kamala.
Yeah.
And Kamala, now the problem with Kamala, she seems a little codependent on Bruno,
Hmm.
and I think she kind of takes Bruno for granted.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. Actually, I know you're right on that one.
So I think that'll be things that'll come up later, like later in the next few episodes.
Yeah,
And it also looks like Kamala's best friend also found out that she has superpowers now. So it
yeah.
looks like another person is in on the secret.
Hmm. So it's going
Interesting.
to be interesting to see what in this episode, and as we go on to 5 and 6, what this is going to play out. But I really hope it ends strong. That's all.
I want her to get her costume already. She got her
Yeah.
mask. She
Mhm.
got her mask in episode 3. So I'm hoping I want to see her in the full costume, and I hope it's not relegated. If it's all in like the last 20 minutes or so where she finally gets her costume and puts on her costume, I'll be a bit disappointed.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really annoys me. It annoys me when that happens, when they kind of just like it annoyed me in Daredevil too, when we had to wait until the very end for him to get the costume.
Yeah.
And then in season 3, he doesn't even have the costume anymore, and that also annoyed me. So
Exactly.
I like Mike. I like costumes. What is it about Marvel? And they always have to like take the heroes out of the costume for like the whole movie or show.
I do not know. I don't know what it is because they've done it. They've done it in the shows a lot more
Yeah,
than in the movies.
it's just that I like. To me, the costumes are the coolest part.
Mhm.
I like to me it's like the whole appeal of comics and comic artwork and superheroes. Excuse me. Throat's a little dry. Have
Mhm.
some water.
Cool.
Mm. Is the iconography, the capes, the flowing capes, the masks, the lines of the costume. I love that stuff, and I love like comic artwork and superhero artwork. So I want to see that sort of translated on screen.
Yeah.
Um, I think Kamala has a good look, so I hope
Mhm.
we're not having to wait the whole show to get it.
Yeah. I agree. Mm.
Now, I will say, I think the Moon Knight costume, I think the costume looked good, and
Mhm.
when it was on screen, it was good. It was just like the writing and everything else that just didn't work for me.
Well, yeah, the writing was just terrible.
Um,
I mean, it just didn't. makes sense, to be
And
honest.
whenever Mark was in the costume, it was just like nonsensical. And then they turned Mr. Knight into just a goofy joke
Yeah,
kind of thing, which was
I
also
agree.
disappointing.
I agree. So I did take a little, since we don't have a lot of comments coming in, I did turn off the subscriber only.
Mm.
Hopefully, it doesn't go bad. Then
Spammers stay away, or I'm going to get angry.
exactly, because then I'm gonna have to turn it back on because I know a lot of people who don't subscribe follow us, and I wish it would subscribe to be able to make sure to get their
No.
notifications. But I turned them off just to see if we get some people coming in, especially after the show is over.
Well, it's not a Star Wars show, and
It isn't
I
a pop
guess
or
it's not as
something.
popular. It's not as popular as some of the other Marvel shows, but
Yeah, exactly.
we're
But
we're we're giving it a look.
yeah, exactly. So since it's 11:40, we got 41. Got about 9 minutes till the show drops.
Okay.
So here is how all this works here on MUSE TV. So what we're gonna do is that as 11:50, 11:51 is when the show's been dropping for us here on the West Coast. As soon as the show drops, we're gonna turn off our microphones, turn off our cameras. We're going to watch the episodes together. And then immediately when the show is over, and if you want to, I scrub to see if there's any extra credit scenes. We will come back and we'll discuss the show for about, depending on how long the shows are, usually it's 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and then we'll go till 1 o'clock to have a discussion, and then we'll give a final rating towards the end. And that's how the Muse TV watch party and after shows happen. Jeffrey, want to add anything else?
No, I mean review wise, it looks like Miss Marvel did very well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
Now, timing didn't work out, but you want to know a good show that would have been great for the watch party and maybe for a future season, Star Trek Strange New
Oh yeah,
Worlds,
I agree. I
which
agree.
I'm absolutely loving
Hmm.
right now.
Same here.
Uh, Great casting, great visuals,
Hmm.
great production values. I love the props, the costumes. The writing I think is on point.
Yeah,
And I think this is the best Star Trek television series since Deep Space Nine.
yeah,
If you've ever watched have you ever watched like old Next Generation or DS9?
yeah. I did.
I
I
think
used to
this
watch
is
Star Trek: Next Generation, Deep Space Nine religiously.
I think this is on par with that. I think yes, it's a little more modern.
Hmm.
Uh it yes, it's been brought into like the 21st century and all that, but it feels like Star Trek. It
Yeah.
feels like classic Trek again. And I think the cast is tremendous. I think Anson Mount is great as Captain Pike.
Hmm.
Rebecca Romaine is number one. I think the rest of the cast are all really good, and everyone I feel like everyone on the show is like pulling their weight,
Yeah, I agree.
and uh like Spock, I'm really enjoying Spock on the show. Nurse Chapel,
Hmm.
Dr. Mabenga. Um, I want I want to see this show do well and run for more seasons. My
Yeah.
only issue with Stranger Worlds, and let me know what you think on this. I
Okay.
think is my understanding is this is meant to be the original Prime timeline.
Yeah.
So it's meant to be in canon with
Mhm.
the original series pilot,
Yeah.
but already so many things don't line up. And
Hmm.
I just think I would just say just make it a loose continuity and say like we're inspired by the original canon, but we're gonna do our own thing in many instances or in instances where we think it's appropriate just because I don't know. It just feels too weird that they're saying this is in canon with the original series
Yeah.
when I already spot so many things that don't line up. But
Yeah.
what do you think of the whole canon
Oh
thing?
no, I agree with that, and I think it should be loose, and that's what they should tell people, that it's loose. Because when they said that this was part of the original canon, it's before. the original Star Trek in the pilot episode, I was like, okay, how are they going to play this out? Because there was a lot of Captain Pike in the original episodes,
Right.
especially on what happened to him.
And they set that up, but
Yeah.
there are just like a million different other little things that kind
Hmm.
of like that are kind of like bugging me.
Hmm.
Like the fact that Kirk's older brother is serving on the Enterprise with Pike.
Right.
Now, when we see Pike again in the original series, like Kirk is like, "Oh, Spock used I saw him this time. Spock used to serve with him before I became captain."
Yeah.
Um, like the fact that his brother served under him, that's pretty significant, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I really do think so. And I thought it would be something else. Of
And
like,
how caught up are you on Strange New Worlds?
I am on episode 8.
Okay, so episode
Well,
8.
there's 2 more episodes left.
Okay. Okay. So, and I guess the other thing is they seem to be aware of the Gorn, even though there's like been very little contact with the Gorn. They seem to be aware of them already.
Yeah.
And in the Gorn episode of the original series, it's like they had never met the Gorn before. It was
Mhm.
like they had no knowledge of the Gorn whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like you can't redact and you can't like classify everything away as like super classified, you know,
Yeah.
which is how they're doing some of it. So that's why I'm just saying, like, do they really need to stick with this idea of this is the classic continuity? But
Yeah, I don't know, because that's the one thing, like with the Gorn, I was kind of like, okay, how in the hell does this? They didn't know him. How in the world does this play out? And at first, like that's why at first I thought it was part of the Kelvin timeline,
yeah,
but then I guess not.
I would just
So
instead of Kelvin, I would just say this show is its own separate timeline.
yeah,
It's similar to it, a separate timeline that's similar to the original, but different and branching, so they can do their own things when they need to. That's all
yeah,
I. That's what I would just mandate, and because I'm really not a big stickler for continuity, especially
mhm,
like Star Trek has been around for so long.
yeah,
And I love the original series, but it is dated as hell. Like, you
mhm,
know, just from a visual standpoint.
yeah,
Even even go back and watch the Next Generation. The Next Generation is starting to look dated too.
yeah. It is. It really
Because I
is.
mean, they started making that series in like 19
88.
yeah, in the late 80s. So it's looking dated as well.
Yeah,
So it's just that eh, I just don't think it's so important that to me that they're trying to say we are connected to the original series. I would just say don't do that and just be like let yourselves be your own thing. Okay,
yeah,
let's check Disney Plus right now.
exactly. It's 11:48. It's time to do our checks. See if it's on, or at least it's been dropped already. Because Marvin isn't here tonight, and usually Marvin is the one who gets it first.
Yeah, if it was Marvin, he'd probably get the episode by now due to his
Exactly.
weird wherever time zone he's situated in. Okay, so
Yeah, from me.
not quite yet, but
So hopefully soon. Hopefully
yeah,
in
I mean the episodes have been a decent length so far.
yeah, that's for sure.
So I wonder if I wonder if it'll be a shorter or similar length this week. So I
I'm
guess
hoping they're similar because if they keep it the similar amount of length,
similar. The length is fine, but I just let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to the
yeah,
nitty gritty. Let's get Kamala in her costume already, and let's get her fighting the bad guys.
yeah, we're already halfway through the show. Let's see some action now. Especially now that we know that her great grandmother. Well,
I mean, is she actually going to go all the way to Karachi in this episode? That'll be interesting. And
exactly.
I'm sorry if I mispronounced
Okay.
that.
There you
All
go.
right,
8
here
is
we go.
on. Steering red. 47 minutes. So
All
we'll
right,
see you after the show.
make mine Marvel. Okay, we are back here for the MUSE TV watch party, and we will be starting our what is it? Our post-show recap. Now that we've got episode 4 of Miss Marvel in the books, so we will continue to talk about it. So that was the 4th episode. So we got 2 more to go. So a bit more happened this week. Some more action, some plot progression with the red daggers, with Kamala. Hey, Mike. All right.
Yeah.
So here we go. All right. So we had our episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Seeing Red. So they did go to Pakistan. Kamala and her mother, I guess, because the grandmother wanted to see them. So the grandmother knows about Aisha, her mother, Kamala's great grandmother, and her being like a jinn. And Kamala found out more secrets about her powers and where her family lineage comes from. And then Najma and her people, the clandestine, broke out of Supermax facility, and now they're back trying to pursue Kamala because I guess they need the bangle to return home. But using the bangle that way could destroy our reality, I guess. So a lot's at stake. Some more action this week. Some plot progression. So it's decent overall.
Yeah, I like the story. I mean, I always like the story of the family.
When things picked up when she met the guy Kareem with the red daggers.
I agree.
Because now we're actually I guess now it took 4 episodes, but now we're kind of actually learning about what's going on. But now they only have 2 episodes left.
Yeah. I'm hoping that the next 2 episodes are going to be around the same length because there's still a lot of story to tell. Because the powers are not the comic book version of how she got her powers.
Well, now she can like time travel. It looks like Najma hit her so hard it knocked her back through time, and now it looks like Kamala. It looks like my feeling is she's going to create that kind of starlight phenomenon that her grandmother used to find the train. Remember that like that fairy tale? With the starlights coming out and kind of guiding her to her father.
Yeah.
I think now we're gonna find out how that happened, and Kamala's gonna learn she was the one who did it because she's been knocked back in time, and she's gonna create the phenomenon from her grandmother's story.
Yeah.
Do you think that's an outlandish prediction?
No, I don't think it's outlandish. I think that's how she's gonna know and piece everything together and figure out like why she's ready.
It's like what do they call this? It's like a paradox.
Yeah.
It's like is this a bootstrap paradox? I don't know what it's like. One of those cause and effect loops.
Yeah.
It's like it's like you know what's going to happen because you already knew ahead of time, so you cause it to you go back in time and cause it to happen yourself.
Exactly.
Like a causal loop. I don't know the best term. I'm not as good with my time travel terms, but I feel like that's the direction they're going in with this show.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's where she's going to meet her grandfather and grandmother, and it's going to explain a lot more. And then that's where she's going to be like, so I'm hoping on episode 5, by the end of episode 5, she'll be ready to go and you'll see her in her suit. And that will take her into episode 6.
She wore like a prototype version of her suit this episode.
Yeah.
Kind of so that ceremonial garb, and she did wear the mask a little bit, but not very. When it's like when she was actually starting to fight, she takes the mask off. So, but it's just a domino mask anyway. But we got a bit of that this week. So,
what I'm curious about is what is the deal with her mother, and her mother's mother? Because every time they talk about these outlandish things, like she doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to know about it.
Kamala's mother and her grandmother.
Yes.
So I don't, because we had that scene. Like we had that scene with them this week,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I feel like that scene could have been cut because I feel it just didn't really add much to the story.
Yeah.
Like we already get that the mother, you know,
Mm.
the mother and the grandmother aren't on great terms with each other. Um, I guess like the grandmother told Kamala's mom about like the jinn and the clandestine, and I guess the mom just thought they were silly stories and never thought they were true, but I guess they were true the whole time.
Yeah. So something I don't know why something tells me like there's gonna be some type of revelation in it.
Uh, Najma, what do you think of Najma as a villain? 'Cause I guess she's basically the show's villain.
I think it could be better. Could have been better written
Mm.
because it's hard to tell what's her end goal. Is it to just by now we should know the reason why she's chasing the bracelet.
I think she
And something
wants
tells
to.
me it's because she wants to wipe
Okay.
out. She wants to wipe out
I
this
guess
earth.
she just wants to return to her homeland and she doesn't care how,
Yeah.
is I guess what the goal is.
Mhm. I
Kind
think
of.
that's what the goal is. I thought maybe she just wanted to wipe out this civilization.
Maybe she does. Maybe that's just kind of an end goal that she doesn't
Mhm.
really care about. Like oh, our world kind of sucks it anyway. So who cares what happens to it?
Yeah.
But um, the guy who was mentoring Kamala for a little bit, Waleed, the guy
Mhm.
who died during the chase, he seemed to like he was telling Kamala about all these different worlds that like are like connected to and bordering on our own. That sounds a lot like the Talo
Yeah.
and the other cities they were talking about in Shang-Chi. So
Mhm.
I wonder if there is a connection there. Um and if it's kind of like maybe not the same, but if it's operating under like a similar logic kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Something tells me it is, and I think that's how they relate her powers to everything
Eh,
because it's definitely different than the comic book.
And
Force,
yeah, there's a lot of
uh,
differences with the
but I
comic.
also think that this is relates to Shang-Chi, and I really do think there's gonna be a connection to everything.
I do think there will be bigger, broader connections between this show and what was set up in Shang-Chi later on. It might not become clear in this show, but maybe it'll become clearer in the Marvels or like a Shang-Chi sequel
Yeah.
or what have you, which they are working on. So
Mhm.
that's a possibility.
Which I think the Marvels is gonna explain a lot more. Something
Uh, man, Najma, I don't even think cared about her son.
mm-mm.
She just abandoned him.
Yeah,
So maybe Cameron's gonna. It looks like he might have still been able to get away, right? Because we didn't
yeah,
see him get captured again, right?
yeah, he was able to get away, but something tells me he's gonna try to stop her, and he's gonna die.
And maybe try to help Kamala at
Yeah,
some
and I
point.
think he's gonna die. Something tells me that, like, she's gonna accidentally stab him or something like that, and it's gonna
Well, and not only that, but Kamala's mother forgot about the ground girls as soon as they touched down
uh-huh.
overseas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, do you think they actually shot on location in Pakistan at all for this?
It looks like they did, but I'm not sure, but it looks like they did.
I don't know where
It
they
looks
shot this episode, but it looks like they did a lot of on location shooting.
yeah, it does
Because
look like that, and
that chase scene through like the town
mhm,
square and
mhm.
now that rooftop scene with the grandmother that was clearly like green
Oh, yeah.
screen.
Mhm.
But, like, some of those, like, the alleys and, like, in the city streets, that looked like they were it looked like they were in, like, Karachi. I don't know if
Mhm.
they actually shot there, or
Mhm.
maybe they used another city to double as
Mhm.
Karachi, so I'd be curious about that. So let's see,
Yeah, I'd
Miss
be curious about
Marvel,
that as well.
production,
Yeah,
Karachi.
it looks very real.
It looked pretty authentic.
Yeah, whereas it didn't look like a studio lot.
Um,
Where the
right,
train
because you
station kind of did look like a studio lot, but I'm not sure.
Some of them did, like some of those did look like the Red Dagger base was clearly a set.
Yeah.
But like some of the exterior stuff looked like it looked like they were on
Mhm.
location. So I'm curious.
And it was kind of interesting to see that painting of Ant-Man.
Did you where was the Ant-Man painting?
It was in the train station when she passed the barricade, and it was there saying
I missed that part. So
something
was it
about
like
large or small.
oh wait, was that like that graffiti when
Yeah.
she goes to the okay, so that like the Avengers graffiti.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it looks like people are making like graffiti of the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
But what did it say about what was the message that was in there about Ant-Man?
Something about you could be as large as possible, but you're or something about being
About
small.
how big and small you are
Yeah,
kind of thing?
yeah, something like that.
I want to find that okay.
Oh, I forgot what scene that is. I wish I could
Okay, here it is. I
do it.
think I found it.
Okay.
You can start small and still be larger than life.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Ant-Man struck a chord with a painter, the graffiti painter in Pakistan. It's
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Mhm.
So it's like the legend of the Avengers is sort of like folk heroes
Yeah.
kind of thing.
But
It
was
doesn't
it?
matter how small you are, Mike.
Well, that's what I've heard.
Okay, so yeah, that was
Uh,
what are you
yeah.
talking about?
Well, because
Get
I
your
wasn't
mind out of
sure.
the gutter.
Well, that's what I wasn't what I was talking about. But what? No, but what? Like, was it Scott Lang's Ant-Man or was it Mike? Um, the-
I
what was it?
I imagine it's Scott Lang
Mhm.
because it doesn't look that the artwork doesn't look that old. And
Yeah.
Scott Lang has been around since now remember this is after the blip, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking so this is like if the blip was 2018. So
This is
this is
what?
basically 2023. So Ant-Man's
Mhm.
he's been out there a minute and a half. All
Mhm.
right, now let's see. Now, the Wikipedia page says they shot in Thailand.
Oh wow.
Now, could they have used Thailand to double
They could
as
have.
Pakistan?
They could have.
I wonder or are they actually going to go to Thailand for part of this series?
We don't know yet. I mean, it's going to be a wait and see. It's going to be a wait.
I'm curious. So it also says they shot in Atlanta, in New Jersey, and Thailand.
Mhm.
So I wonder if that's a hint on where they could be going later, or if they needed like for the Karachi scenes, if they kind of for those city street scenes, if that's what they use Thailand for. Now, the chase scene was very good. It was well done for the
Yeah,
most
it
part.
was really good. Very well done chasing.
Um, and it looked like they did shoot that on location,
Hmm.
and it came off well. Um, I felt bad that it looks like that's it for Waleed though. Cool
Yes.
character, could have been like kind of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi for Kamala, but he's already gone.
Mhm.
Um, and I guess we're gonna pick up next week. We'll pick up with Kamala. It looks like she got knocked backward in time to the
Mhm.
partition, and
Yeah.
she's gonna meet her young grandmother. I think is what'll happen.
Yeah.
What do
I
they
think
call it?
happened.
The partition of India.
Mhm.
So this was so that would put so if she's at the train station, that would put her at about 1947.
Yeah.
Now I wonder if she'll meet her great grandmother as well.
I think so. I think it's going to be her great grandmother and her great granddad,
Let's
and we're
see.
going to see what happened during that whole thing.
So other than that, I thought the episode was okay. I think a bit. There's a bit of padding there, but they did a little bit more this week. So, but there's still a lot to go.
Yeah, there's still a lot of story to go. I think it was a good episode. I think it was well written. The family scenes are what I really like a lot. Um, I did like the action this week. A lot more action, a lot more of her using her powers and trying to,
Yeah.
and more learning about where she came from and what this new version of Miss Marvel is gonna lead up to.
And if there's another bangle, maybe Najma's going to get the other bangle, and that will kind of even out the power sets,
Hmm.
and that will make Najma more of a threat to Kamala
Yeah,
in the last two. But I guess we're going to see there.
yeah, exactly. Do you think we're gonna see Captain Marvel at the end of this series?
That'd be neat if there were. That'd be a neat payoff, and
Hmm.
maybe as a way to lead Kamala into the Marvels film,
Yeah, or Wong?
or maybe she could meet
Shang-Chi?
Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, yeah, that could be it too.
So,
That's why I'm going with Captain Marvel, then Shang-Chi, then I'm gonna go third Wong, if
right.
it's one of these three. Last, I think, is Monica Rambeau.
See, because Wong was investigating the rings
Uh-huh.
and in Shang-Chi, and then wasn't Carol there? Wasn't
Yeah,
Captain
Carol
Marvel
was there
there?
too. Mhm,
She
and,
was in that meeting.
Banner.
So maybe there's
Mhm.
maybe the bangle, the rings, maybe there's because look, the 10 rings had the bangle in the
Mm,
40s.
yeah,
So there is a connection. So if all these artifacts are connected,
mhm,
maybe that's going to lead into the Marvels. And also it would just be a nice payoff for Kamala to meet, the hero she idolizes and have a fun little interaction or moment with her, have a meet
yeah,
cute with her. I hope they do that. I think that would be a good way to end, to kind of be like the stinger, the credit scene for this show.
yeah,
But I
because I
guess,
think there has to be something where that's why I say Captain
yeah.
Marvel would be the best choice, because then it kind of sets up what's gonna be in the movie. But
Like
also too, as you know, with these series, they don't always go that
it could
route.
be like Captain Marvel, it can be like, "Hey, welcome to the big league, kid.
Yeah,
Welcome to the big leagues, kid," kind of thing.
yeah,
That'd be a nice way to end the series. Like, Kamala has her hero's journey origin story, and now she's part of the bigger world. She's part of the
yeah,
big picture now.
exactly. I agree with
Okay.
you.
Any other big takeaways
That's pretty much it.
before
I
we
think
wrap
we
things
went
up?
through everything on the episode. I think all we need is our grade of this episode. So what's yours, Jeffrey?
What would I give this episode? I'll give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. 7.5.
Mhm.
I
This,
think it was good. It's 7.5 for me is a good. It's a solid good.
yeah, yeah. I think for me, for this episode, I give it a little higher at an 8.
It wasn't quite at an 8 for me just cuz I think Najma and the clandestine are okay, but like I'm just not. I need to see more of them to truly believe like that they're a threat and they're really like co- they're not really that impressive as villains to me because
Yeah,
she's got like the henchmen, they're good at fighting and stuff, but I'm just not sold on not Najma as a villain yet.
yeah. That's the reason why I can't give it any higher. I'm giving it an 8 because of the story. I like the family
But
connection.
this was a more
Yeah,
exciting episode. It was
yeah.
a more exciting episode.
This was
But
an
yeah,
exciting episode.
7.5 avid out of 10 for me
Yeah,
this week.
it's just the villains still haven't. It's hard for me to give it more when the villains just haven't even made a
And there were some good.
presence.
I think there were some good production values.
Mhm.
Whatever exterior, wherever they shot for the city streets looked really good for the
Yeah,
most part.
I agree. I agree. But now that we're closing it up because we both have busy lives and tomorrow we're gonna have to work again. Jeffrey, where could they find you?
All right. So once again, I am the J to the E to the double F free. You can follow me on Twitter at Wheeljack83. Check out my reviews and interviews at 411mania.com. So this week will be Minions, The Rise of Gru, and also after that, so it'll probably be coming out next week. Thor, Love and Thunder, baby. Be on the
Awesome.
lookout.
I don't get to see Thor till next Wednesday. So sad. But I get to see it with some friends, and that's cool. So yeah. But awesome. You can find me here on MUSE TV. Little heads up, next on Sunday, July 3rd, we're gonna be live streaming Fight Betty Fight. It's a concert to support Betty Cisneros, who's the guitarist and one of the founding members of Go Betty Go. She was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and we are doing our best. And we have a bunch of people including Go Betty Go, the Dolly Rots, Johnny Madcap, and Jenny V and Linley from Bad Cop Bad Cop. They're going to be performing for the show, and we're going to raise money to help support Betty through her fight through cancer. So don't miss that out. It's going to be here on YouTube. It's going to be on Amazon Fire TV, and we're going to expand it to some more avenues as well. I just haven't announced that yet. We're going to be announcing that on Friday. So stay tuned for that. And also, if you look at the MUSE TV YouTube channel, we have a great interview with AEW Women's Champion Thunder Rosa. And this week, we have Penta Zero Miedo, which is kind of hard for me to say because my Spanish.
Penta Oscuro.
And Ray Phoenix.
Oscuro.
We have Penta and Ray Phoenix.
Oh,
We talk
man.
about Midsummer, as well as the Republic of Lucha, and then bringing the shop to San Gabriel Valley. So stay tuned for that. And every week we have new interviews from that wrestling match, and we're going to be putting them out. As this week in pro wrestling is a little teaser to what's going to be coming up in the future for that show. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next week for the Miss Marvel watch party and after show.
Thank you, guys. All right.